All right, today we're talking about how to stay current in today's rapidly evolving technological landscape. My guest today is Ghazenfer Mansoor. He's a technologist who's got years of experience in various different areas in technology. He keeps his finger on the pulse of all the changes that are happening. I'll tell you more about him in a second, so stay tuned.
Welcome to the Smart Business Revolution podcast, where we feature top entrepreneurs, business leaders, and thought leaders and ask them how they built key relationships to get where they are today. Now, let's get started with the show.
All right, welcome everyone. John Corcoran here. I'm the host of this show. And every week we have fascinating, smart CEOs, founders, and entrepreneurs from all kinds of companies. And if you check out the archives, we've got Netflix, Grubhub, Redfin, Gusto, Kinko's, lots of great episodes. Check those out. And of course, this episode brought to you by Rise 25. At Rise 25, we help businesses to connect to and give to their dream relationships and partnerships. We do that by helping them to run their podcast. We are the easy button for any company to launch and run a podcast. And in fact, we've even invented a platform called Podcast Copilot, which is being called the Wix or the Squarespace of B2B podcasting. So go to our website, rise25.com, and you can learn all about what we do over there. All right, my guest today is Ghazenfer Mansoor. He's the founder and CEO of Technology Rivers, which is a Virginia-based firm that's helping startups and healthcare organizations to build compliant AI-powered software using a rigorous product strategy approach. And he was originally born in Pakistan and relocated to the United States in 1999, largely in fact, on his expertise in Java, which was a really emerging technology at the time. And there's a great lesson behind that about picking an emerging trend, a new technology, not yesterday's technology, but the next technology. And so if you can use that in your career, it can be extremely valuable for you. So Ghazenfer, I'm really excited to have you here today. And so first of all, we're going to get into talking about AI and sexy topics and stuff like that. But you said you were born to a poor family in Pakistan. Talk a little bit about what that upbringing was like, growing up in a poor family in Pakistan.
Yeah, so thanks for having me on this show. Really excited. So yeah, growing up in poverty, obviously, you go through many challenges, but that pushes you in terms of doing certain things. So, for example, you don't have the same money for buying lunch or getting that luxury that the people around you may have it. So, what do? You find ways to make money, and I started doing that by doing some tutoring. I was teaching other kids math. So I was good in math in my school. I was teaching math even at the same level. And then in college, when I was doing math and statistic, I was teaching others math and statistic. So those were the other opportunities that I found because of being in a poor environment. So, and we all hear that like poverty pushes you towards, or when you don't have stuff, you will find ways to innovate.
Yeah. How did you find your way then to computers? When, a lot of times poor families don't have the money to get access to computers.
So I was lucky. My father was retired Army. So there was a program that was launched by a company that was offered to the kids of the veterans. So the Veterans Administration in Pakistan, called Fauji Foundation, they sponsored the diploma. So the diploma was from a company in UK, it's NCC diploma. So I had to go through the process. I gave the IQ test and I got elected. So that 1 year diploma set the foundation for me. So learning the basic things about the basics, computer, even accounting and everything. So with a 1 year diploma, I still feel like that was the foundation that helped me up until now.
It's like
So
here in the States, like my grandfather was in Air Force, in the Air Force, and he did the VA program where it paid for his college after coming back from World War II. So it's kind of like that, but for the next generation.
so there was somebody, ex-army person, who started this institute, and his first client was he sold it to the Fauji Foundation. And so that was the deal. So that Fauji Foundation was paying, and it was only available to all the kids
Okay.
of a
Well,
certain age. So luck was it. So
and
I was
you
there at the right time.
and you discovered that you had a knack for technology. You like technology, playing with computers and things like that, experimenting, building things on computers.
Yeah, I always love new things. So whatever I'm doing, I feel like I want to learn this additional part. And computer was, I did see that in my school, but it was only limited to one, like very few people. Nobody knew how to. The school had computer, but only a couple of people could use it. There was no training. So looking at it, but then when I got this opportunity, that just opened up door for me.
Yeah. So, and you actually, I don't know if this was the same program. You ended up getting your master's degree, and you decide to do your final program in Java, which was a new programming language at the time. Talk a little bit about that decision.
Right. So right after the diploma, I got into, I started a job, and that's from there. I realized that in order to move up, I need to get a mm, degree because diploma is still like in those countries, diploma is still like degree is really important. So I signed up for a master's program. And at the end of the master's program, that was 98. We had to do the final project. Me and some of my friends, we said we want to do a project in a different language. Like obviously, we had an option of COBOL, C++, C, and different. But a lot of people were doing. We wanted to do something. So Java was upcoming. We started reading about it. So well, this is going to be the market changer. So we learned Java. We did the final project in Java, and
And
that
some of the professors didn't even know Java. The professors that are
most people
creating
didn't
it.
know. Like they didn't care. So our class was very motivated. Like they didn't even. So we pick up all those different projects that people didn't know. Like for example, a friend of mine, he did a Urdu browser. I did email server. I still remember. I still know the email protocols. I can open up the terminal and send an email right from the terminal now because I still remember the protocol, the SMTP and POP3 and IMAP protocols. So that was building that software in 98 using Java. So because there was no other opportunity, I wouldn't have gotten a job or anything to learn Java. So I learned myself, and that opened up my opportunities for the US.
Because you found there was a recruiter who was looking to recruit people that were Java developers, and you came across this recruiter who had a position with a company in Pittsburgh in the United States.
Yeah, so Mastech is an Indian company based in Pittsburgh. Uh, Due to talent shortage, they were looking for people everywhere. So they hired a recruiter in Pakistan who was giving them the developers. So I got connected with the recruiter. He set up interview for me, and I told him, "Hey, this is only my university project and the POC that I created during my free time when I was on bench at the company I was working." So, but because there were not many people available, they were willing to take a chance. So they made an offer. They processed my H1, and 3 months later, they put me on a project with EDS on a project for AT&T. EDS project manager interviewed me remotely from Virginia. Um, After the interview, I was elected, and a week later, I was here in US, and my first project was in McLean, Virginia.
Had you thought about this for a long time? Had you wanted to come to the United States, or was it just kind of like this opportunity presented itself?
It's just the opportunity presented.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't want to go out like most people would go to Middle East and some other part of the world, and I was never fascinated about that. But US and West, like UK, were one of the countries that I had met. Like, if I get an opportunity, I'll go. It's not really just because of the money, but the innovation ahead of technology. So I wanted to come to US to compete and work with people that are doing the next generation of things.
And is that what you found when you got to the States? You get to the States in '99, so we're talking like big. This is dot-com boom era.
Right, right. That was right before the dot-com burst.
Yeah, right, right. And AOL is a huge company in Virginia at the time.
That's true. AOL, definitely, AOL, and there are so many.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And so, what were your impressions when you get to the States?
So one of the comment that I always got from one of my mentor, was from my uncle. So he always tell me that you may be the best sports person, um, best of anything in your country, in your region, but the real competition comes when you go to Olympics. And he that resonated. And he said, when you go to America, that's where you would have that feeling compared to your country. And that's exactly what I saw. Like it's a huge market. There's so much stuff happening. It was mind blowing. So everything was new. So I was lucky that I got here and I got to work on those interesting, innovative projects, and uh, that opened the door, and the rest is history.
And you ended up actually through your Java expertise, ended up getting some opportunities working in mobile app development, correct? And
Yes.
this also is in the early 2000s, so it's 7 years before the introduction of the iPhone. So pretty good timing because it's mobile's in a huge upswing during this period of time.
In 2000, I got a job with a company called Noble Star in Reston, Virginia. So right after I joined, they got a project with a European telecom, wanted to build the wireless communities. Noble Star had an office in Finland as well. So that's how they got that project. So I was on that project. That's how I started learning mobile. Mobile at that time was WAP, flip phone, WAP, WML based. But that opened up opportunity. Noble Star saw that opportunity and they created a wireless accelerator group within Noble Star.
Hmm.
And later on, that spin off into a separate startup called DefiWire. And I was one of the early employees of that. So that's where we built the mobile platform. So that set the foundation of all the work that we're doing on the mobile. And this was even pre iPhone. In fact, one of the reason for the FireWire, uh, I would say, not success was because the devices were not that powerful. And obviously, iPhone came and Android came. Like it's really not the device company and or the software. You need to have both. So previously, you had a different device companies and different software companies, and that clash didn't help companies get to the next. So
Yeah.
Apple and Android solved that problem, and
When
everything changed.
and when the iPhone was introduced, did you see that as a huge breakthrough at the time, or did it take a while for you to realize that this would change everything?
I knew this is something amazing, but I didn't expect the extent of it. Now that we see everything is like at that time, obviously just the iPhone and iPod, and then gradually everything. So yeah, I didn't realize at that time how big it would be at that time.
Yeah, it took a while.
But I continue to get more opportunities on the mobile space because of your prior. You know how if you do one thing, there are more likelihood that you will get more next work in the same space.
Right, right. And so you had done kind of side work or projects, kind of 1099 type of side projects and stuff like that. Tell us about HireWorks. This is a software, a company that you founded. This is around 2011. Where did that idea come from?
So when I was doing side gigs, I got opportunities to do some consulting projects. As I was doing consulting, so I did for College Board, Washington Gas, Veterans Affairs, different places. I was doing consulting, mostly Java consulting. During those opportunities, sometimes people would call and they're looking for Java people. I'm not available, but I know people, and I started putting people on the projects, more of a staff augmentation work. And I started looking around the software that would be used to manage all that flow.
This is probably
They were
monster time period, or people are hiring through things like that.
so yeah, Monster, Dice, those were the job boards, and then for on the tracking side, there were tools like Taleo that was acquired by Oracle later on. So yeah, so there were limited tools, and then whichever were available, they were either very specific or super expensive. So I thought this is an opportunity to get into that space.
Got it. Okay. And so you run it for, it looks like about 3 years. How was that? What was that experience like? This is your first real, like, kind of startup, I guess.
I was a real startup, and there was some lessons learned out of that. And one of the bigger lesson is to focus on one thing. So even though I had that startup, but I was still doing something there and there. And when you wake up every day and that's not your one focus, there are chances that you would lose some opportunities. So we built a really great product. We had customers, but we never went on our fundraising side. And that's where it's very difficult to run the SaaS businesses without raising money because SaaS eat a lot of money.
Yeah.
So quickly we got into a situation where we're running out of cash.
Mm. And so looking back on it now, would you have raised money, or do you think you should have?
I should have, and I would raise the money next time.
Mm.
So it's not really the money, but it's also the helps on a strategic uh, partnerships.
Yeah. How does that lead into Technology Rivers, which you begin? I guess you had done Technology Rivers kind of side projects over the years, but eventually it becomes your full-time thing around 2015.
Right. So my specialization is building product. I really love building product. So as I was exiting HireWorks, I was thinking, what do I do? Do I start another startup? Um, do I take a government contracting, which was very lucrative in this area, 9 to 5, not much work, good money, which I did like Veterans Affairs, EPA consulting before, so I could do that. I didn't enjoy that. This is the part I enjoy. So I wanted to build product. My younger one was 15 months old at that time. So I had a hard decision to make. If I'm getting into a startup, that means struggling financially probably for a few years, limited time. And by the time I'm out, my kids are out of the house, then that would be a lost opportunity. So that was the focus on the family part. That was the decision I made. Okay, I want to do something different. And that's when I decided, okay, maybe building product for others, maybe we don't own it, but I'll still be closer to the startup. So the decision between taking a consulting full time versus starting your own. So I decided to build a services business helping others build startups, products. So, and especially working in the DC area, I realized that a lot of government contracting, the focus is on T&M, keep building, never launch. Startups don't work like I've seen many startups failing like that. So focus on building the right thing the first time. So we decided like, okay, I'm gonna build a company that helps those startups. We stay closer to the startup. I enjoy the startup part. Yes, we don't own it, but helping them get those hurdles of building the product.
And you specialize in healthcare now, I think among a couple other areas as well. Did you drill down into a few niches immediately, or did it take a little while for you to decide on that?
So our second customer was health tech. That's how we got into it was a healthcare company in Baltimore. So then like when you do one project
Yep.
through that referral, then we got one project where the startup off of Hopkins Innovation Center, and from there we learned HIPAA. So we did good work. The CTO referred us a few other projects. So then we started doing all HIPAA healthcare. So
Mm.
now like pretty much that's our focus, AI and healthcare.
Yeah. And let's talk about AI a little bit, because you must be like a kid in the candy store for someone who likes building things and who likes new technology and new things. I'm not even anywhere. I'm not a technical person. I'm not a developer. And yet I find myself drawn to all these new tools and testing them and trying them and stuff like that. What has that been like? How's that affected your business?
So AI has definitely changed almost, I would say, every business. So it's just that maybe from a different angle. Software development is one of those businesses. We're taking it as like for us, it's not the AI is not really impacting, but making us 10x, be more productive, and that's the goal we have set up for everybody in a company. We have a fixed amount allocated. Everybody can buy any AI tool to do research because we have a goal like everybody should be 10x. So we're leveraging AI heavily in our business. So we're using different tools to create different projects. So there were things that were done that would take months and years. Now that we're talking days and hours.
Mm.
So we have leveraging the vibe coding, different tools, whether it's creating a design, whether it's creating a test cases, whether it's doing a code quality. All of these things are helping how we were doing before. So everything is much faster now.
Yeah. And is that in both like the prototyping? Is it in the building? Is it every element of it?
I would say it's every element. It is more on the building side. But if you look at it, like every person who is in a company, they are using it in a different way. So, for example, marketing is using in one way. I use it different way. Developers are using to create code quickly. Some
Hmm.
are using for doing the research. Like, for example, we have I'll give you a few examples. So, for example, we created AI agent. So that's a requirement agent. So let's say if you're coming to us and you want to build, we'll give you the agent. The agent will ask you a few questions. You start giving the answers, and it will generate a requirement document for you right there. With one click, it will give you the whole mock-up of the application. So
Mm.
now with one click, you can push that into Jira. So through Claude or through different tools, we can create user stories. Obviously, you still have to review, just like anything. Like if you're creating a blog, the blog in a first cut would not be giving the chat GPT is not going to give you everything, but you have to create prompts. You have to give other information so that it generates based on your specific instruction. So I, I consider ChatGPT or AI as my assistant. Just like assuming I want to build something, I'm giving instructions to ChatGPT or Claude, giving specific instruction. Okay, can you add this link? Can you refer this thing? Can you do this thing? So it keep optimizing to the level, whether it's something proposal, RFP, or anything.
Yeah.
So same is the case on the development side. So you keep giving those instructions. So so I would say when we work on these, there'll be a difference. So for example, our UX person is doing more of initial POCs. Let's say there's a requirement comes and they'll create a quick mock-up of the application much faster than before. The developers are generating code, looking at the code quality, test cases, the testers are using the same to create unit tests faster. Um, and then let's say you have a requirement and you're creating a user stories. With one click, you can push those into your Jira. So all that time is saved because previously somebody would manually go build the Jira board, everything. Yes, you still have to review it, but now with these tools, we can do things much faster.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing right now, all the changes that are happening. And I imagine you're using more sophisticated tools than I'm using as far as the technological stuff. But are there any tools that you are really excited about right now that you've been using recently more heavily than others?
I'm still learning. Obviously, my team is a lot more techy, more knowledgeable on these, and I'm getting that knowledge from my team. Cloud Code is the one that we use a lot. Lovable is another one. Replit is my team's favorite for creating full end-to-end product. So these through like UX Pilot is another one for creating UX.
Yeah. It's crazy. I think there was some stat about like ChatGPT was or OpenAI, the company was, reached $1 billion valuation or $100 billion valuation faster than any other company in history or something like that. And then you keep on hearing this about like Replit and Cursor and Lovable and some of these other like tools that are built because of OpenAI. Now they're reaching higher valuations even faster than OpenAI did, and it's mind-boggling that the changes that are happening in real time. It's just truly incredible.
Absolutely, no doubt. Like Cursor, you mentioned, like I think every developer have Cursor now. Without
Yeah,
Cursor, you can't imagine building the
yeah,
code.
yeah. It's a bit mind-boggling. Yeah, it's exciting too.
Even
Yeah,
And even on the non-technical side, I think there is so much into how you use AI, even for non-technical. So what we're doing in our company, every Wednesday, we have all hands. So so that's where we talk about AI. Either somebody's showing a demo, we're sharing what we are learning, because different people are learning things
yeah,
from their angle. And we're define those AI goals, and everybody has to report for those goals and how they are making, because we want everybody to be at the level. So that, because if you are not doing that, then you will likely get obsolete. I give examples of Toys R Us, Babies R Us, and blockbusters of like,
right.
hey, you have opportunity. This is our time. You can be on this race and compete versus just sitting back and waiting to work in a traditional way. You
Right.
still hear some argument from some people in the industry. Oh, it's not production ready. It's not going to be too soon. It's already here.
Yeah, for sure.
We
Yeah.
are generating production ready code, end-to-end application in a single day.
That's amazing. It's incredible. Ghazenfer, this has been really interesting. A couple more questions I want to ask you here. First of all, I know you have kids who, one graduating from college, one graduating from high school. What do you say to the younger generation right now? You glommed onto Java, and that created amazing opportunities for you in your career. What do you say to the generation that's graduating now? What should they be doing? Should they pick a technology? Should they be technology agnostic? Like, how do you even prepare for the coming disruption that will come from AI?
Yeah, so I mean, one of the advice that I give to my kids has always been like, hey, whatever you do, do be really good. If you want to be chef, be the chef Ramsay, obviously without screaming. But and whatever, like whether on a computer, like my daughter is, she's an interior designer. My son, he's getting into cybersecurity. He's starting college, so they all have different interests. AI is gonna disrupt every industry, so I'm suggesting them to start learning more and more AI, be really good on like you can't imagine like, oh, my industry has no impact. No, everything would be, and you will be a lot more productive, because on a day-to-day basis you are using AI anyway. Like whatever the stuff you do on a daily basis, AI is there. So why not? But main advice that I give to the new people who are starting a career is to pick something that is unique, that is better. So, for example, if you apply for a job and 1,000 other people are applying and they are coming from your school or similar, you're not going to get a job. What if you have done a different project, a new project, any new technology, anything in your career, but you want to be something where when somebody's looking, you are one of the few people or you are the only one who have done it, then you will get it. You mentioned my Java example. That's exactly was like I wasn't expert in Java at that time. I just learned Java at the right time when nobody else was doing it. I was one of the few people that was learning Java. Similarly, even when I came to US, I used that approach to get a better job at a higher pay. How would I do it? I would get a book from O'Reilly. They had a really good technical books, O'Reilly Associate. So I would read, let's say, a new version of Java. Before the version launch, the book is there. I read it. And then when I go for an interview, um, I would tell them the stuff that they know, like only you can do it if you know the stuff. So,
Yeah.
and I've always been open, never lied on a resume. I always say this is like studied or experimented this thing, very clear on that. So it's not about like faking anything.
Yeah.
People love genuine people. And they know like, oh, you won't find these people anyways. The only few people that you'll find are the ones who may have just practiced or experimented.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the same advice for all the new people or anybody who is struggling in their job search in the career. Pick something different. Be better into how you can do AI or any of these techs to be better than everybody else. What
Yeah.
is that? You have to figure that out because that's specific for every industry.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, I had a different career path. I worked in government and politics, but similar principles. So, like, I was from Los Angeles. I had was working in the entertainment industry for DreamWorks, which was a really hot company at the time. And then I think that's what got me a job working at the White House. And then also, then from there, I applied from that to applying to be a speechwriter in the California governor's office. And because I was different coming from somewhere else, that led to that opportunity. And then same thing when I was a practicing lawyer, I had this political background that kind of distinguished me, made me different. But at the same time, also when I was a lawyer, I was competing with other lawyers who went to better, law schools than me. And I realized I needed to differentiate myself again. So then I took my legal degree and I went into entrepreneurship. And then all of a sudden I'm different again. And so like every time I've, separated myself from the pack and tried to do something different. That's what has been really helpful for me. I want to wrap up with ask about your book. You got a book, you got a podcast, which we've been fortunate to help you with. It's launching, and the book is Beyond the Download: How to Build Apps that People Use, Love, and Share Every Day. Tell us a little bit about them.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier about my mobile experience starting from Noble Stars, so that gave me opportunities to be on the cutting edge of the mobile. So since started this business in 2015, we have built close to 60 different mobile apps in different industries. Like, yes, healthcare is primary, but obviously when we're working, we build for education, for fintech, consumer apps, sports, many different types as well. So close to 60 different apps. So we have been guiding those customers, helping them on growth strategies. So this book is talking about all the insight, the experiences that we learned, and then also the external. We have some case studies in this book, including one of our customers. This book talks about 30 plus different strategies, how to build the app that people use, love, and share every day. Because it's easy to create an app nowadays, but it's very difficult to retain it on the people's phone.
Yeah. Where can people go to learn more about you, Ghazenfer? Technologyrivers.com, anywhere else?
So my personal website is ghazenfer.com, Ghazenfer. So you can find out about my podcast, book, and everything, and about Technology Rivers. So you can find a link for Technology Rivers from there as well, or technologyrivers.com.
Excellent. All right. Thanks so much.
Thanks, John.
Thanks for listening to the Smart Business Revolution podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.